welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm Jeff Howard, and give me a second here because I got to introduce three people at once. But first I'll mention the film title, The Male Gaze. I have three people here to discuss the film The Male Gaze that was an official selection at the Sherman Film Festival last year in December 2025. And those three people are Kathryn Ross, Kelly Hooper, and Jonny Diaz. Hey, you three.
Hola.
Hi.
All right, now I'm checking your mic levels. Make sure you say hi loud.
Yes. Hola, hola. ¿Cómo estamos?
Excellent. I see waveforms.
All right.
All right,
Gorgeous.
so you three, not only did you make The Male Gaze and bring it to Sherman Oaks Film Festival for the Los Angeles premiere. My
Yes.
notes
It
say
was.
LA
Yeah.
premiere.
It was.
That's right.
Sometimes people pull our leg and they tell us it's a premiere.
Right.
But it really was.
We're very
Awesome.
truthful.
Yeah.
It's California too, right?
Yeah, that's right. Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, we don't even ask for that distinction. But not only did we get to do the LA premiere of The Male Gaze, but you all took home an award that delighted me. Kelly and Kathryn got the Grand Jury Award for Best Performance by a Duo.
That's right.
Yay.
Delighted us too.
Yay.
It's not with a lot of pride that I say first time it went to a pair of women.
Oh, really?
First, yeah. You know, a lot of jurors, kind of old school. It always goes to like two dudes who are funny. Actually, the year before it went to a married couple who performed together as a couple, and they were really funny as a couple. So that was kind of fun. But finally, because actually the funny thing about Duo is it always goes to comedy.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
in most acting awards, jurors tend to focus
Yeah.
on a dramatic performance, even though I bet comedy's tougher. Whereas Duo, everyone just wants people who play off each other
They
in a
get
funny
along.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a movie where it's like two people who don't get along, but like you like that duo. But I feel like that's like a Batman and Robin type of thing. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, well, that would be a great award for the
Yeah.
Oscars. Best
Nemesis.
Yeah.
nemesis and henchman.
Yeah. But no, duo's fun. Yeah.
Duo, so you two won Best Performance by a Duo.
Wow. I didn't realize it was
Which-
the first time for
It
two
was
women.
the first
That's amazing.
time. In fact, I was such a dork at the festival because I was talking to Kathryn maybe at the gala, and I'm like, I really wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
Because I had
love
just
that.
read it that afternoon, and I think I said something like, "Oh, you'll be happy," which probably sounded so weird. Because I didn't even use the word award. Just like, "You'll be happy."
Well, you were right. We all were very happy.
Excellent, excellent. And we will learn all about how the film came together and how the three of you collaborated on it. Because I guess I should. Oh, here I am talking about the duo. Jonny was the director.
Yeah.
Kathryn was the writer. Kathryn and Kelly produced together. And needless to say, because you won as Duo, Kelly and Kathryn were the two lead performers, as well as wonderful performances actually by, I didn't check on his name, but Ryan Kearton
Yeah.
and Jalen Eichler.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
There we go. So
Right.
now I've named everyone who was in the credits.
That's right.
And my cat.
That's a
My
smart-
cat was in
that's
the
right.
credits.
Oh yeah.
That is
B.
highly
That one's an
important.
easy one.
It is important. Beatrice.
Yeah.
Beatrice Hooper.
Shout out.
Shout out to her.
She's listening.
She will be.
Well, we'll find out how this project came together and how you all collaborated. But of course, one of the points of the Discovery Indie Film podcast is to find out what led people into the, I sometimes sarcastically say, unfortunate situation of being an indie filmmaker. But it is actually really fun. It's a great thing to do.
Totally.
And I'm so glad that people do it. So who wants to go first with their story?
I want Kathryn to start first, only because I don't know it that well, and I feel like it's nice to always hear an origin story you don't know. Yeah,
You're directing. I love it.
it happens without
It never
thinking.
Yeah. I guess the first time I ever did any acting, I was like 6 or 7, and there was this. Did you guys have Gaddy Town?
No.
Growing up, was that just a Texas
No.
thing? Maybe it was like
Yeah.
a one-off. For some reason, I thought it was a change. It
I
was
was
like
literally going to ask where you grew up. So
Texas,
everyone know
yeah.
you'll be asked.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
it was like this pizza place for like kids, and all they were it was just like kind of like crappy pizza, and they played like cartoons in a theater. And they had like a couple like rooms for birthday parties, and as a kid I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Still sounds
and
cool.
we
Sounds like
got to
Chuck E.
go one
Cheese.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like it. Yeah, there were no like games or anything, but it was really fun. And we went one time with my mom and brother when I was like 6 or 7, and they were having a like they have kids acting outside of Texas, right? Kids
Like
acting.
is it like a
That's the
company
brand.
Like an
name?
actual
Yeah, it's like
class?
a maybe
No.
it's just- okay.
I mean,
well,
I
I
didn't know
don't know. It was like
they only act in Texas.
children can only. No, yeah, it's like a company.
Okay.
But they were having like hosting a rehearsal in one of the rooms, and I asked if I could join it. I didn't know what it was. I just wanted to go to Town again. But that was my first play, and then I just kept doing it from there.
So started with stage and then high school
and
drama. And
yeah,
whatnot?
I kept doing theater through high school. I signed with my first like commercial agent when I was like 11. Kind of by chance, there was like a movie premiere in Austin that was this biopic about a guy who's really into. Okay, this is probably another only Texas thing, but have you guys heard of FFA?
Film.
No, it's like a farm animal
No.
thing.
Then yeah, no.
But they had
didn't have
like
that in New
a
York.
chapter called 4-H at my school. If you guys,
Oh, the cow thing.
4-H we
well,
know.
I did
The
it
farm
for
thing?
the bunnies because there
Okay.
were bunnies at my school.
My friend did it
but
for
they
cows.
invited all of the kids from like the local chapters to go to this movie premiere because it was important to the guy in the biopic. And I went with my mom and we sat next to one of the actors, and she started telling him that I liked acting, and he was like, "Oh, well, you should start now. Why don't I give you my agent's email?" And you go, and then yeah, that's where it started.
Cool.
There you go. And well, yeah, we can move on and then we'll come back. But all right, Kelly should go next.
Sure. So I grew up in New York, which is like musical theater central. And the era I was like growing up, it was just very much like, I mean, I just thought musical theater all the time, and like everyone was doing it. It wasn't like I had really any exposure to film and TV acting until I was older. Like I always loved movies, and my family always loved movies. But yeah, my first show was Annie when I was 6 or 7 as well. I played an orphan. It was a really big role for me.
Orphan 3.
I-
That does
I was
mean-
orphan
you
4,
were the
Johnny.
lead- but you were the lead in Annie.
Right.
Of
course.
That's,
That's how we remember it.
that's like a killer role.
No,
for a kid.
I wasn't Annie. I was just an orphan.
Oh, one of the orphans.
I was one of the. But that was enough for me.
I might have walked out of Annie.
Oh, he
But
said
there
there's
were
only
other
one orphan
kids,
in
yeah.
Annie. No, there's a lot of orphans in Annie, and I was one of them. No, it's fine.
Orphan
I only think
7,
about it
there
every
you go.
day. So I did that, and then yeah, I mean, like I knew a lot of kids on Broadway. Like it was just kind of like there was like a natural pipeline to that. I was always like 5'9" out of the womb, so I didn't really look like a child. But yeah, it was just like pretty much I just continued with my training. I did choir growing up. I did dance. I did acting, singing. And then I went to college for musical theater, and I lived in New York City, and then I moved out here kind of like on a whim, and then I decided I wanted to try like film and TV acting and that kind of thing. And yeah, I had been writing as well a little bit. I did UCB in college, like sketch writing. I did some playwriting classes, but it was more so I was always like focused on singing or acting. I never really thought I would be an indie filmmaker. So interesting turn of events for me, but yeah.
And that's the most casual move to LA story I've heard in like 9 years because,
Yeah.
I mean, right? Because if you're into singing and that kind of theater, like you just said, LA was a whim? Like,
Yeah, I came to visit for 2 weeks. And then I was like, what if I stayed for a month? And then I was like, what if I stayed for a couple months? And now it's been over 3 years. So
nice.
I'm a crazy person.
Was it the weather, the culture, the everything, the vibe?
For me, honestly, like I had always come to visit LA. My older brother lives here. He's a writer. And I just really didn't like enjoy it that much. I didn't have a car. Like I was kind of like at the whim of other people and like where we were going. And then when I came to visit for a couple weeks, I came out to do a showcase, and my brother lent me his car, and like I had my own things to do, and I was like, wow, the weather's really nice, and like, wow, this is like really different. And I felt like I wasn't really taking advantage of living in New York anymore. I felt like my my social life was like pretty stagnant, and like I had good friends, but I wasn't like putting myself out there in terms of like my professional life either. And I just kind of wanted like a change of scenery. I didn't think it would be years, but for me, it was kind of like, well, I'll just see. So, yeah.
Nice. I kind of asked because I'm a third generation Angelino. So
There you go.
I like when people come here and get stuck.
Yeah.
It's much nicer than the people who come here and hate it and leave.
No.
No, it's too cool a city to hate on, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny, this leaves you.
Yeah. It's cool that everyone is starting from like when you were a kid, because I was like, that's usually not where I start when I think of the idea of like, oh, when did I start liking film? I'm like, it's usually, I'm like, well, later in high school or whatever. But in terms of like the creative arts and everything, we're thinking, I'm like, oh, that's something I enjoy doing is such a better, cool question too. So I like that you answered it that way. For me, I guess it was the fourth grade, if we're going back that far. And Mr. Schreiber was his name. He cast me in like the little drama club in elementary school, and it was for Lion King and another Christmas play that he wrote, I think, called like The Magic Ornament. But what was cool was like, that was like the first time I auditioned was like, he made everyone in his class read from Shel Silverstein. And he had like everybody got a different poem and you had to read from that. And I read it, but I thought I like did terribly bad. And I loved movies and everything as a kid. So I was just like, oh, it was so bad, just like down on myself. Aww. And then I got I got to be in, and I was just like, cool, I don't know what to do, but this is great. Cause I was like 8 years old, 9 years old, whatever you are. And he did this Lion King play, and I was Rafiki and Mr. Ed. And it was cool because I got to be two roles, and no one got that. But we all know Lion King. Ed
Who's
doesn't
Mr.
speak.
Ed? Yeah. Mr. Ed?
Ed is like the third hyena that doesn't laugh. It doesn't say anything, but he laughs.
He's like, Mr.
Yeah, and I was just like, but
I was picturing Mr. Ed the horse.
Did I say Mr. Ed?
How
I probably said
bad?
Mr.
I don't
Ed.
feel.
Remember
Did
the
he?
horse in Lion King?
It wasn't just me. Okay, good. Because I was just off it on my.
I just looked at him as such a Mr. Ed. No, it was the hyena. Ed, Sir Bonzo, Shenzi, and Ed are the three hyenas. Yes, I was Mr. Ed. But anyway, no.
But was it physical comedy?
It was everything. It was everything, But yeah, it was like an entire play. The way that he wrote it, because Lion King was so fresh at that time. But he wrote it as if it was like people instead of animals for kids. So everybody, it was like a royal kingdom and everything. And instead of animals, we were people.
Hamlet.
I was going to say, so they take King Lear and do it with
Exactly.
animated animals, and then a teacher turns it back into young humans.
Yeah, but kids.
Kids, yeah.
And that was the first time I was just like, ooh, cool. Like, it's fun to be creative. It's fun to be something else in acting or whatever. But that's as long as my acting career started, because I was just like, didn't really do acting well. I got into film in high school-ish, but not really, more college. I went away because like I'm from Miami, and in Miami, there's not a lot of film-ish culture the way that there obviously is in New York or in LA and now in Austin. But yeah, so I went away to Chicago and stayed there for 10 years, studied film, worked in commercials and stuff, but I knew I had to come to LA because LA is where they make movies. And I remember my uncle in Miami taking me out on a boat, and he's really young, cool, and hip. My deal Rory, shout out, he'll listen. And he was just like, bro, you want to go to LA? You're trying to make movies? You got to go out there because that's what's up, and that's how you do it, because, you got to get your foot in the door. And it's like right now, you're outside, and the door's in California. It's like Chicago's nice, and I'm sure you're having fun, but it's not LA. And he's like, I gave the same advice to a band when he was, I guess, maybe managing them, but not really. Like, it was his friends. And he was like, hey, if you want to make music, you have to tour, or you have to like get the word out. If you want to make movies, you have to come to LA. And that was very true then. And I hope still now, but we are battling other, circumstances that are taking films out of LA. And, I don't know, for whatever, now that I'm here and I grew to love the city so much, I'm like, oh, we got to bring it back. Not because I live here now, but because that's the culture. And I don't know, if you come to LA, that's what you think and you dream of. So that's what brought me back to LA. And not brought me back, but that's what brought me here.
Right to LA.
Yeah.
So Miami, Chicago. By the way, Chicago has a really great art scene.
Great, yeah.
And I love the stage scene there.
Oh.
And
Yeah,
there's
the
actually-
live theater is
live theater,
amazing. Yeah.
And also there's like a community.
Big time.
I think. Yeah.
Everyone's very loyal. That Midwestern like loyalty, where I just remember being lost and people could just see it and they're like, "How can I help you? Where do you need to go?" Whereas like anywhere else in New York, and God bless New York because I love New York for this reason, they're like, "Out of my way," you know, because Miami's like that too in a way. But it was nice to be welcomed, especially like being the first to go to school from my family. You know what I mean, in college and everything like that. So it's a cool thing to be welcomed so nicely the way that Chicago does.
In college, did you do something film related or?
That's where I did. That was the first time I like held a camera and told a story. And what was cool then at Columbia in Chicago, we at that time, they don't do it obviously anymore, but we shot on film with Bolex, and that was my first film was cutting, you know, the film on the, I forget what it's called, but the moviola style.
Yeah, the flatbed.
Yes, so I was rolling the whole thing and doing all that, and it was my first time touching it, but like it was a beautiful thing because they wanted you to kind of like go through the process and see how hard it is to make a film and get your hands on it. And that was a great thing about Columbia is like they're like, when you get here, you're going to shoot a film like the first year. A lot of film schools don't do that. And so that was a big help because I'm like, I'd never touched a camera in that way before, you know, and it sounds nasty, but I mean it in a like cool, you get to hold the camera and shoot something. And I remember I grabbed my cousin, I grabbed one of his friends. I'm like, okay, we're going to tell a story here. You two are going to cross paths. And then I don't know. And that was a thing. But I remember like taking the film later and scratching it, like going frame by frame. And I did this like eternal sunshine thing of like how they missed each other when they were passing by. Because a lot of my early films were like relationship based, which I think is what works so well with the male gaze is just like, oh, I know that world. I've been doing it since college. So yeah. And they can explain what the male gaze is. I guess I don't know if we've done that yet.
They can explain, but
yeah.
But first, I'll just share that at our film festivals, we've had more than a few graduates of Columbia College in Chicago.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
And I think those programs that do have a nice balance of like a lot of practical work right away,
Yeah.
but also some film theory and whatnot, right?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
I was almost mad though too, because it's just like at first they get you started on film, and then eventually it's just like, okay, now write about it. And I was like, I don't want to write about it. I want to keep making them, you know. But it's expensive to make films, so they kind of teach you that balance of like, well, you have to know what you're talking about. You have to know, you know, what it takes to a certain degree, and just read a lot of good books and did a lot of good research there. But it is tough, and I feel like they did a good balance of like, you know, getting your hands wet, but then also being like, hey, but you know, you have to kind of respect the idea of a budget and all that other stuff, which we do and we don't. I don't know.
For sure.
We try.
All right, so I guess who met whom first?
Well, we met.
We met first, yeah.
We say we met in the wild.
We did. We met at a bar.
We met at the bungalow.
We met at a bar.
We were both fresh in LA.
For sure, yeah.
And I got separated from my friends, and Kelly and her friends kind of took me in and made sure I got home. So, and then we were friends since then.
So you actually just bonded as human beings first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't. It wasn't like a thing where we sought out like a. I don't even think I knew she did acting
Right,
or
wasn't
anything.
An
It was
acting
just
class.
like
It wasn't
no,
improv. It was
no,
human
yeah.
beings meeting in LA. See, another story that LA isn't
That's
a shitty
right.
place. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you'd both moved here. You said you were both sort of recent
Yeah.
transplants?
I think
Yeah.
I had been like 3 months, and you were maybe 2.
Yeah, we moved around the same time. So
Oh, that's
yeah.
something to bond over.
And we were
yeah.
both living in Airbnbs because
We were.
I got scammed. I think she chose to live in an Airbnb, but I did get scammed. Yeah, so we met and
How'd
then
you get scammed so that you can warn other people?
Facebook. But then I ran it back, and 2 months later I got another sublet on Facebook, and I wasn't scammed. But
Wait, so
don't
people
be like me.
rented out an apartment on Facebook?
No, like, so I just I knew a lot of people, especially in like the theater world. When you would go to like a regional contract somewhere, you would like find a sublet on Facebook. So I was kind of like, okay, I'll like go to like one of those subletting pages, whatnot. And I realized it was a scam like the day before all of my like luggage and boxes were being sent from New York to LA. Yeah, so I had to live in an Airbnb for a while.
Fair enough. Yeah. So you two meet and become friends.
Yeah.
And bravo for rescuing someone whose friends ditched him.
Yeah.
Got to make sure people get home safely. So at what point do you both realize you both kind of share ambitions and are both creative people? Because you already mentioned writing, and I know you wrote The Male Gaze. I'm saying you on the podcast with multiple people.
You're looking at me, though.
That's
and everyone
true.
should know that.
That's true. But yes, Kelly already mentioned that you started writing even before you moved to LA, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. And were you always a writer? Kathryn?
Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't mention that. Yeah, I studied writing kind of in college. I studied advertising. And then I worked as a copywriter for a little bit. So that's kind of where my writing background came from. I never really wrote before college, though. I kind of just stumbled into, I never saw myself as a creative writer, and then it just worked well for me for a little bit in advertising, and now I'm doing this. And
did you and Kelly as friends, so I guess I was asking when you found out you both acted and if that inspired you to want, and did you also talk about like writing and stuff and short films and whatnot? Because it's quite a leap to actually make a short together. I don't even know if this is your first one together. It is. It's our first one together, and it's also our first as filmmakers, period. This was my first script that was longer than like an ad spot. So it's this is a newer thing for us both.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, sorry to cut you off. I was just going to say, I think shortly after we met, we just started like hanging out naturally as friends, and then realized that, I mean, probably the first time we realized like we were both actors and like that's what we both wanted to do. It wasn't ever something we ever talked about writing, nothing like that. Kathryn was the one who came to me with this idea, and I remember I was going on vacation and I came back and like the script was done, and I was like, okay, I guess here we are. Like, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah, I've been trying to get, something like this to work. And I don't know, actors always know a lot of other actors. And so, everybody's always talking about, oh, we should make something together. And it just never happened. And I was like, I know one person who will actually do this with me. And it was Kelly. And I was right. And we did it.
That's nice.
And you come back from a trip and read it.
Yeah.
And I guess you loved it.
Yeah.
Because it's really funny.
I think what Kathryn did really well too is she wrote something, not only is it a great script, but she had it in mind what we had to work with. Like, it's filmed in one location, it's minimal actors, it plays well off of like I think what we're both good at. And yeah, it was like 10, 11 pages. It felt like something attainable. I think when you write something really big, it's exciting, but it's not necessarily like, oh, like we can easily make this. Not that we easily made it. Like, it was a lot of hard work, but she did a really great job of making sure it was something we weren't looking at and being like, this is so scary. It was something more like, oh, well, like, let's get our friends together. Like, let's do this, like that kind of situation. And I think she did a really great job of that.
Thank you, Kelly. I feel like we didn't expect, we were starting smaller, we thought.
Yeah.
I feel like we were, we ended up kind of, it grew. Our production value definitely went up thanks to Jonny.
Thanks to Jonny.
Yeah, but we were expecting to make something very, very lo-fi student film-esque, and ended up with something that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
If I say so myself.
You kind of threw the perfect segue for how Jonny got involved.
Ooh.
How did I get involved?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
we talked to several other directors before you
Ah.
that you're special.
That's a
True.
good thing, yeah. That means
I guess
He got
so.
the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, you beat him out.
Hey.
Yeah.
They didn't.
They were
Nobody else really
picky.
got the vision the same way. We didn't feel like.
Yeah, and I think one thing about we connected with Jonny because one of my childhood friends, her boyfriend worked with Jonny at Panavision like about 10 years ago, And I was talking to him about it, and he was like, well, I know a director who is great. And I was like, okay, great, we'll talk to him. I think the one thing about Jonny is he never made us feel silly. He always treated us like we were capable and not like we were super young or we didn't know what we were doing. He just like always acted respectful, and he came in with like a pitch and like a PowerPoint and all this stuff. And I was like, everyone else has kind of just been like, so like, oh, you know, like I could help you and like I could do that. But he came to us like kind of like he was, you know, gunning for a job, and we were like feeling like these young people who didn't necessarily know what they wanted to do or what direction to take it in. And he treated us like we were equals, and that was really important to me.
Yeah. Some of the people we talked to acted like we were, I don't know, like it was more of a hobby than like a real, you know, professional goal. And that's not, you know, obviously as attractive as having a director who actually takes it seriously. So
I don't want to read too much into it, but it sounds like some of the others might have been doing male posturing. Is that, I'm getting a smile.
It's possible. It's honestly, yeah.
Whereas when someone comes in and treats you like the producers who are hiring someone, like professional, is much better than like, yeah, you know, I can do this for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jonny, did you know how inexperienced we were when we first started? By the way.
That's not a fair question because one, I never look at it from that perspective. I look at it more on the idea of like, it's a job and do I want to do it? You know what I mean? Because I realize and I know how much time and effort and hard work and everything else that you want to say it takes to make anything, especially a film, no matter how short or how big. I work on big films, I work on small ones, and I just know how hard they are to make. In terms of like, did I know you were... I was like, I think like, yeah, our buddy Trig was just like, hey, they have a script, you want to direct, boom, bada bing, try it out. Yeah. You know, and I was just like, well, let me read the script. And I'm like, well, this is something that was fun, something I feel like if I can make it my own or find my way around it that feels like it speaks to me, then cool. And again, it's a lighthearted, you know, rom-com. Two girls like a delivery guy and they battle for his attention and to date him, right? So it sounds like it's like, I think a lot of people come into the industry, and maybe this is just experience for me now where I am in my life versus other people. Like if you go for a 20-year-old, sometimes they're like, I want to make fucking, I always say like a Godard film or whatever. And I'm like, that's cool. And you can, and you should, because why not? I'm sure I have a version of those films that I did back in Colombia. And I still can make those, I think, you know, but I'm like, that's not what this is. And I see where her voice is, where their voices were. And I wanted to lift those up because I'm like, I like those films. I have a lot of women in my life that taught me and forced me to watch rom-coms at first. And then I grew to love them. So for me, I was just like, no, this can be fun, but like, I don't know. I just felt like, why not? You know what I mean? And it's always helpful to gain the experience to try something different. Even, you know, I don't know. So I don't know if that answered your question. Yeah. That was a big ass word salad, but ultimately, no, I treated it like a real job because that's how I go about anything that I want to do. And I feel like anybody should. It's like, if you are serious about the craft, if you actually want to act, you're going to put something together, you're going to write something, and you're going to tell your person, let's do it. You told me to do it, let's do it. If you actually want to edit, you're going to go up to somebody and say, give me your footage, I want to cut it. If you want to direct, you're going to say, here's how I envision it. Whatever the job, my thing is like, take it serious if you are serious. If you're not and you want to fuck around, cool. Sorry, I don't know if you can.
You can.
Okay, go.
I would normally have said it was fucking hilarious. Yeah, I normally try to drop the you beat me to the first F word.
Fair enough.
There we go.
Congrats.
Leave it to me, I'll drop one, you know. But yeah, no, it's just that thing. It's like, whatever, if you're actually passionate about, prove it.
Yeah.
Well, and it sounds like what you're saying, like Kathryn asked if you knew how inexperienced they were, but it was irrelevant because the script was good. Yeah. They were making a film. People making a film who have a good script are worth working with.
I think so.
So you showed respect from the beginning.
And the script was good. Like, yeah, there was like maybe one or two things that we changed along the way, but it still felt like the spine and the structure and everything I felt would work. And, you know, yeah, it's a little rom-com, and like that's cool. I like those, you know, and I think like the world needs more of them, quite frankly. Especially now, it's like you want to fucking disassociate a little bit and just be like, oh, dude, man, watch something that lifts you up a little bit, or just like, I don't know, you enjoy. And I enjoyed making it. I think, thankfully, Sherman Oaks enjoyed featuring it. So yeah, it worked out, you know. I
can be honest. There is a dearth of comedy, like really just kind of post-COVID and with everything that's kind of been happening in the world for the last 5 to 10, like good comedy is always valued, and just way too many people. I mean, I guess writers are being true to their feelings by writing depressing shit about the end of the world,
right? And I get
or at least at a metaphorical level.
Sure.
But I sure enjoy a laugh too, right?
Why not?
Yeah. And I think one thing I want to add, going back to Jonny, is just, yes, he came to us and treated it like a real job, but like I don't take for granted that not only were we young and inexperienced, but he didn't treat us like we were like silly little girls or anything. Like gender never played a factor into how he treated us. Our age didn't, like, and that's something that I really value.
Yeah,
and
we had trouble getting other people to take us seriously. Sorry.
For sure. No, that's all I had to say. Yeah.
We had a deleted scene that had a few extras in it, and
sorry to them.
I know. Sorry to all of them.
They were great.
Our cast was like 4 people, but it almost was like 10.
It could have been 10.
Almost. And we invited a bunch of our friends who needed. Since we were SAG production, a lot of them needed vouchers. They were working on that. And one of my friends that we like threw his way. He's a great dude, so no shade to him. But he was like, I don't actually remember if I told you this, but he was like, you know, clearly not expecting a set with the kind of, you know, level of professionalism that we had. And he came in and was kind of like looking around and was like, so what do your parents do again? What do Kelly's parents do again? He was like trying to see if like our parents had like a production company or something.
Yeah.
And
you
that
thought
was
there
how
was
we
a trust fund kid involved?
Something like that.
Well,
I think he was more assuming that it was like, you know, we had family who was already in the industry who, you know, like helped us pull this off, and really it was Jonny that helped us.
And I'll say it's my friends who helped out. You know, we had Mario who came out, and he has like thankfully, like, again, my uncle, going back to that, you know, discussion on the boat, he was just like, you want to put your foot in the door, you got to be in LA. And in LA, people here take it serious. And my buddy Mario had like an entire grip truck, you know, that I remember I worked with him at Panavision with Treg, and I remember seeing his struggle when he would buy light after light after, I should say expensive light after expensive light after expensive light on a credit card and max it out, on a credit card and max it out. And he did that constantly and bought a truck and put it all and like made it all happen. And I was just like, dude, how are you doing? And he's like, I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out later. You know, and that is the indie world, obviously. But like, he made it work, and now he's really successful as you know, a gaffer and doing a bunch of stuff. And all my friends, you know, that I kindly slowly pull, like Richard Tamayo, who shot it. He also does commercial stuff. Jason Chun, who's like our first AC, he came out and he does like, he works on big feature films, you know. And I was just like, hey man, sorry, I'm doing this little indie thing. He's like, Jonny, for you, man, I'm there, dude. Aww. And he was, and like that was our team, you know, and it always is, thankfully. And you know, it worked out. It's just like, it looked professional because it was professional. Yeah. They were professionals. They are professionals. But they're homies, you know, and we're family in a little way that way, like a band of misfits, if you will. We all come from different places, Texas, New York, Miami, and wherever else. But that's the beauty of LA too, where it's just like, take it serious and make it happen.
I always love a story that kind of shows that being a good person pays off too, because obviously if you treat people well, all those people said, I'll do this for you, homie. That means that you were cool to them previously. Like, because the people who come here and like, well, I shouldn't pick on Kathryn's film, but like if you walk onto a place and act like, how did you guys get this done? Like, that's not someone you know what I mean?
No.
You don't do a favor for someone with that. Not that guy. I'm sure that guy kicks ass. He's great.
He also didn't mean any.
No.
Yeah.
It's
but
more
I was pulling an example, but you know what I mean? Like,
do good.
A lot of
and
people
be good.
step on toes, and
Yeah.
then who wants to help them?
Yeah, and I think a testament to Jonny too is like all these people, wow, I'm just like glowing about everyone. Love it. All these people have been in Jonny's life for 10 plus years. Like that's got to say something amazing about him. And also like, yeah, it was just me and Kathryn. We brought Jonny on, he brought everybody else, but he also never made us feel bad about calling in a favor. I remember talking to other people and they'd be like, oh, well, like I've talked to other people just in my day to day who are like, I could do this for you, but I'm saving this favor for myself. And that's happened to me many times. And I totally get that. It's like, if you have a big project you want to do, like you can't necessarily ask the same person for favors over and over again, but he never made us feel like, oh, I can't ask for help or anything. Like he just brought all his people and they all love him. So
I say ask for help all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's every favor. I hate doing it, but I got to do it.
Yeah, but everybody wants to work with you. So
oddly, I don't know, surprisingly maybe, but like to me, I'm always like, I don't want to bother Mario. I don't want to bother this person. I don't want to bother. But I'm just like, but what else am I going to do? What else, let's see if we can make it happen.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to hone in on the performances because, so Friends, and you start, was there acting together previously? Because the on-screen so you got that chemistry. Like
best duo.
Just
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but
yes.
Do I have to continue the question, or you just want to run with it? Like,
well, yeah, we okay. So the writing process for the script, a lot of the I guess I had kind of a first draft, and then we went back and made some. I would read it to Kelly, and we would kind of go over some of the humor, and then. We did a few edit rounds that way before we started going to Jonny, and he helped with a lot of edits too. But in the beginning, kind of going through it like that when it still wasn't fully formed together could kind of help us, I guess, like, I know how we joke around as friends already, and we could kind of do that while tailoring the writing process to each of our voices. So I think that definitely helped a lot, is that we started very early in the process to make something that fits very well with the chemistry that we naturally already have as people. I think.
Yeah, I remember we read it a couple times when we first read it out loud together, and we switched parts. Like Kathryn said that she didn't write anything in particular for which one of us or whatnot. But I am curious, did you ever have it in your mind, who you thought? Because after we read it, I think we had a pretty good sense of which character we would play. But I remember you telling me you didn't have any idea. And I was like, wow, really? Yeah. Because now watching it, I'm like, it makes sense to me.
It must have been subconscious.
Yeah.
Because I
just got to say.
That's fascinating. I'm fascinated that you, here I was assuming the performances were so great because you wrote it to your strengths. And you didn't. You just wrote the story, and you could have swapped parts and still had the chemistry and been great.
I think the chemistry would have been there, but I don't think that necessarily I don't know. For some reason, Kathryn wrote herself falling on the ground 30 times.
I don't know why I did that.
But for me, I was constantly standing or sitting in a chair, and that it just made more sense that way. I don't know. I feel like in the end, it made sense, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense for those two characters, I think, too, because, Gemma's a little more clumsy of, a person, and Lainey's a little more collected.
Yeah, but I don't think of myself as a physical comedy actor, and I think you're someone who does that very well. So I think we did end up playing to our strengths, whether it be subconsciously or something that we were very aware of.
Yeah, I'm sure there was some kind of subconscious thing going on there, but if I thought about it consciously while I was writing, instant writer's block. I could not put myself in it. However, I did start 3/4 of the way, maybe through writing it, imagining Ryan as the UPS guy.
Yeah, and he did an amazing job.
Yeah,
he was so good.
Solid.
Yeah,
and it was cool because it's when we shot his close, we were obviously pressed for time, running out of everything. It was the last night maybe, but we're just shit, we don't have enough. I definitely didn't have enough coverage, I felt and thought at the time, to shoot the last scene. And imagine it's the big scene where he gives his big reveal. And we're just oh shit, how are we going to do this? And I told him, I'm I've been in this position before, thankfully. And again, going back to experience and shooting and all that stuff, where I'm and I told him, I remember I gave a little halftime speech right between, I'm hey, we're running out of time. And just know it's we have very limited, again, time to shoot this thing. So we're going to have to go out there and nail it. And sure enough, when we did that last scene in the dinner table, when they're doing their like drinks, all three of them together, I'm like, I'm going to have one shot on you, and one on you. So there was like 2 takes of that entire thing. And Ryan had like his little monologue, and he nailed it for us, which was like super grateful for, because I'm like, had we not gotten that performance out of him, even like it wouldn't have sold the film well. Like, you know, so hats off to like everybody coming together at the last hour for it. But in terms of like the dual connection thing, I remember my pitch packet putting it together. I was like, this is like an episode of, and I was listening to a lot of Gary Marshall at the time. I read his book or listened to it all. And I love him, and I just think he's like R.I.P., but like so
he's
good and worked with women. So I was like taking inspiration from that. But mainly he was saying, lost my train of thought. But duos.
Yes.
Broad City. And I remember putting that together along with like, there was like an image of Amy Poehler and Tina Fey in whatever movie they did together. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it was
like,
Sisters. Yeah.
It was a photo of them too, and I'm just like, there's one of you is Amy, one of you is Tina, is the way that I saw it. Or in Broad City, it's like one of you is this one of you is that one. But I'm just like, so in the same way, I'm like, one of you, like life just happens to casually and doesn't have to lift a finger, and the other one struggles for everything, you know, everything. She struggles for everything and can't get it. And what would happen if those two lived together? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, they're best friends, but also it drives you nuts. Because in life, there's always that other person that you're comparing yourself to, where you're like, it's not fair that they get that. And I'm like, that's life. So you have to deal with that. But, you know, that's what this short film is about. Like, there's 2 people in the world, and they're living together, and one, something comes easy to, and the other one, it doesn't. But they're still friends. And that was a big thing that they talked about. They're like, we don't want them to hate each other. And I was like, that's exactly what I want.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't want like 2 people, 2 girls, let alone fighting over a guy. It's like, it's more complex and also more, I don't know, weight to it than that, because that's easy.
But it's also, I think what's refreshing about it is that it's slapsticky, and that both lead characters are allowed to embarrass themselves.
Yeah.
And like not be super slick and sick. I mean, that's the humor of it, right? Is that, you know, a lot of people might have written this a different way.
That's my favorite kind of comedy, is just like, I feel like in my head I say like lovable idiots that are just, you know, everybody in it is a lovable idiot to, you know, in different ways. And they're not idiots, but you know.
No, yeah, it's not like Dumb and Dumber. It's more, but
Well,
you are
that
missing a
was-
few cues. But
exactly, they're all just a little like, you know, missing a few cues is a great way to put it. They're all just a little bit like
they're in their
detached
own
from reality.
They're in their own realities. Like each of them could easily have their own film.
yeah,
Like, where they
admittedly, the premise alone is funny because, I mean, well, first of all, you don't really get that many cues off a UPS delivery or a delivery guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, they just walk all day, so they got great legs.
for sure.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it just works. Like, it's actually, I don't think it's embarrassment but you are silly. You're both in your own ways silly. And silliness is so refreshing.
It's fun.
Yeah, and even like the costume in terms of like the great leg situation with UBS, even like it comes down to the costumes, like that being silly too. Like he was in these like
Those
little
tiny
shorts.
Those are very
From
important.
this like theater rental company in the middle of Ohio that was Did Legally Blonde. Like they had the UPS costume. Like we wanted everything to be reflective of the world. That was really important to us. Like world building in terms of costume, props, scenery, whatnot. Like we wanted everything to feel like it was theirs, especially because this is their space that they live in and that they're in every day. So yeah, that was important, I think, and it helped with our dynamic as well. Like it's always easier to portray a character or have chemistry when you're in a costume in a place that reflects the character you're playing, you know?
That was a big thing I wanted to happen for the film, where I'm like, they can't come into an apartment that's all white walls. I'm like, that's just such a like student level thing. You know what I mean? I'm like, we're not there. And I'm like, it needs to have color. It needs to have flavor. It's like, where do they live? This isn't, you know, Kelly's apartment or Kathryn's apartment. This is Lainey and Gemma. So like, what does it look like? What does it feel? How would they decorate it? What do they think? What do they live? Exactly all that. Mm-hmm. But a lot of that came from Gary Marshall too. and just like what I was reading, that Laverne and Shirley, all that stuff, like Three's Company, a little bit influenced there too, where it's just, yeah, my mom, when she saw it, she's like, oh, it reminded me of Three's Company. I was like, good. You know what I mean? She's like, yeah, I loved it. And I was like, good. You know what I mean? It's just like a slice of life, a sitcom type of thing, which is what it was intended for that.
Yeah, and I think we also just wanted the love to always be present between the two girls and not to have it feel like the man is the most important thing.
Right.
And I think we were fearful of having a male director, just in terms of like, we wanted it to feel very female gaze, you know? And that was the point of like the pun and turning that word on its head and whatnot. But yeah, it was just very important for us to make sure that we as women weren't like pinning each other, pinning against each other, pinning each other down.
Pitting, yeah, you weren't pitted against it. Yeah.
Pitted against each other.
Actually, you did get the feeling that had someone won the prize, so to speak,
Yeah.
the other would have been okay with it.
Right. All would have moved on. We would have been fine.
Like, I've been, it's not like a school crush where you're like, I've loved this person from afar for 9 months and now you're dating him.
Yeah.
It wasn't that.
It was never about we joked that it was never about the UPS guy, it was about the dishes.
Right.
Really. That's what the actual stakes were.
Yeah.
I must say the apartment looked super lived in.
Yeah.
It definitely looked like a natural environment.
Yeah. They put a lot of work in that.
That was crazy.
Up until the night before.
It's
from
all
what I understand.
stickers.
Yeah.
It's just the wallpaper.
A bunch of stickers.
A lot of stickers.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask, gotta love a pun. So how early did the title come?
It was untitled Mailman Short, I think, until we had like right before we brought it to Jonny.
Yeah.
And
Oh, wow.
Kelly had her laptop open and was going through lists of like words related
Mail.
to like, mail. And then we mail was on there. So it must have been words related to something else. But
good
And it had
we
to do
said
with mail.
And I remember saying it at the same time.
Yeah.
But
Like a
I guess
eureka
it was
moment? You both said
Yeah.
the mail.
Yeah.
Mail.
Well, we were
Mail.
looking up male puns, like as in MAIL.
But we did come up with it ourselves
We did
at the same time.
because we wanted the whole thing to feel incredibly female gaze. So like it was supposed to be, I guess, ironic. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
kind
the
of
male
part of the
gaze
point.
is real, and like
Yes.
I love that you're having fun with it because, I'll just confess, like my generation, it's I am jealous of the men younger than me who don't have to stare. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the male gaze is like a real thing. Like you even catch yourself doing it sometimes.
Yeah.
You're like, ew, I see, it's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So to have
kind
fun
of the point of part of the inspiration, I guess, for the film was like it is kind of an inversion of the male gaze because I don't know, like typically they say, I guess, in like film classes or how they describe the male gaze is like female characters being less of maybe a woman the way a woman sees herself and more of a woman the way that the man writing her sees her. And so it's kind of supposed to be an inversion of that because they kind of end up like stripping away his personality, the mailman, and just, making him an object in their lives. And then, at the end, it turns out he's got his own life. He's got a recent ex-boyfriend. And
Spoiler.
Yeah. Oh, no. And they kind of, they let this competition kind of not only get in the way of their friendship, but also, like this poor guy this entire time is thinking like, oh, I have these new friends that like me so much and I don't know why. And it turns out the entire time they were, kind of making him this not person to them, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I have to add kudos to the directing because, you can only... It was not obvious to me that it was directed by a guy. I don't think the credits were in the front, right there at the back.
Yeah.
All at the
Yeah,
end.
because admittedly, look, when you watch 800 or so submissions per festival twice a year,
Sure.
like you see a lot of stuff, and sometimes you do the guessing game of like, okay, was this directed by a guy, in the binary world? I don't know why I've got to cover my ass on that, but yeah, it's like you did not. There's things you could have done as a director to objectify the women a little bit too.
No.
And you didn't.
Yeah.
All the objectification was male, and that's so refreshing.
Yeah. I mean, that was in the script. So it was like, that's what I saw. That's how I read it. It's credit to them. You know what I mean? And all of us just being on the same page with everything, no pun intended. But like, yeah, I think the message was clear. I don't think there was ever any confusion there at all, at least not on my end, about doing any of that. And if anything, it was just, it was so funny because I don't know who, probably both of you, but it was one of those things where it's just like, look, they need to be friends, and it's really important that the girls don't hate each other. And that was a thing that I knew right away. I was like, I didn't even see it that they would. You know what I mean? I'm like, obviously there's an alternate version that, but like as I read the script, I was like, no, that's not what this is about. You know, that's another film or another, I don't know, just wasn't there. So for us, it was easy to realize that, I think. You know?
Yeah, but especially even in the beginning, like the choice of having kind of the dreamlike sequence between Lainey and the UPS guy, like really does put the whole female gaze into perspective too. But that wasn't like I don't think that was in the script. I think that was something, right, that Jonny came to us with.
The main reason for that was because Richard really wanted to use that lens.
Oh yeah.
He said, let's use this lens. Yeah. So really but it worked out. But yeah, I think like just right off the bat, having the intro of his character be in such like a dreamlike way where it's not realistic and we're not living in the real world made it more fun and just more, like from the woman's perspective, I think. Yeah. Which was cool.
I also have 6 sisters, so shout out.
I was gonna mention that. I was like,
he has 35
sisters.
Like,
well, I got 6 sisters.
Yeah.
Like,
so you had no choice but to respect women, basically.
I respect. Yeah, absolutely.
You respect the shit out of them.
Exactly. And I'm like, how do you say that? But like,
no, it's true.
I'm more of a feminist than they are. I feel like it sometimes. But yeah, no. I mean, when you grow up and seeing the struggle that women go through as a little kid, it's how could you not? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, my dad was around too, and he's great and always been supportive. But like, my mom took care of me 5 days out of the week. And then the weekends, and then I would see my dad too. So it was very fair and fine and honest. But like, I don't think, it's hard in this world, especially now, I would think. But I just think I'm like, first off, treat everyone fair and equal, because what does it matter to you to do the opposite unless you have some hang up? But yeah, I just think I'm like, why be a dick? That's it. You know what I mean?
I have no idea.
Always ended on that.
No idea.
That's the LA kicking in right now. Just chill,
Peace, love, and understanding. There we go.
How easy.
There you go.
Well, and it sounds like everything went really nicely on set.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Passed out, I think. But other than
Mine
that,
did pass out.
But like one weekend shoot or something?
2 days.
2 days.
And we did a little pickup, but that was like not even a half a day. That was like a couple, just like one shot that we wanted to do, which I think was like the butt shot. We had it already, but we wanted the other angle, or another angle.
You need another angle of the butt.
I got greedy.
Jonny wanted more butt.
Yeah. Why
Gotta
not?
have more butt.
I wanted that Pulp Fiction, angle on Kathryn as she is about to like shoot him up. For those that see the film,
EpiPen,
we'll get it. Yeah,
not
the
drugs.
not, but almost a nod to Pulp Fiction.
It was.
100%.
Yeah, it was.
It was in the pitch deck. I was like, this is the shot that we need. And we didn't have time to do that shot. And I was like, we're coming back for that shot. So that's what we did.
We did some
that was all
turnarounds too
Yeah.
during pickups. Yeah.
Just because, again, we were pressed for time. We didn't really have, the budget became something, but like we never had a budget. We just were like, whatever it cost, we would pay as we went, which is also expensive.
Yeah.
But like we were just going with what we had and whatever resources we could pull. So it wasn't something, Panavision, thankfully I worked there. So like shout out to Mike Carter who hooked it up with the lens package. But I reached out and I was just like, hey, if you remember me, I worked with Trig at Panavision. And he's like, he recommended this thing and I'm working on it. If, we can borrow some lenses. He's like, Jonny, it's for you. It's free. Here you go. And I was just like, shit. Okay, cool. It's not a favor you always ask for, but like, why not?
Honestly, Panavision has a great,
They do.
well, my information is 30 plus years old, but Panavision has always been good to indie filmmakers because they
Yes.
know if the
come back,
equipment is
yeah.
sitting there for the weekend, why not let them have it for close to nothing?
Yeah.
And then they'll be loyal to you if they make it.
Well, when I worked there, it was one of those things where you would think that. And it was very difficult to get. And I can say this now because I don't work there anymore. But again, it's different. And shout out to Panavision Hollywood that closed down and everybody that worked there, because I know them all and they're dear friends of mine who I love. And yeah, shout out to them. But when we were working there, I was just like, hey, this gear's standing here. Do they do like employee rentals? And they're like, well, no one's ever asked. And I was like, knock, knock. My name's Jonny. Is there any weekends I can pull this stuff? And that started like the idea of employee packages, at least as far as I know. And somebody can, in the comments, I'm sure you'll say something. But when I worked at Panavision Hollywood, everyone told me it wasn't a thing. And I asked for it. So I'm taking credit for that. Because even Wyatt House came later and he had worked there forever. And he's like, dude, no one's ever done that before. And I was just like, well, let's do it. And then it kind of opened up the floodgates a little bit. And I won Panavision Short Film Festival for an employee thing there. So I think like that was like, again, one of those things where I'm like, you see, something worked out. But it doesn't hurt to ask, as I've learned. And it's hard to ask, obviously, but you got to try, especially when you're doing indie stuff. So
For sure. So edit goes well? Everything peachy keen?
Yeah.
I'm just fishing for positivity.
I know. I'm trying to give you it was.
But you guys, and then I couldn't help but think when you said, we just kind of like budgeted as we went.
Yeah.
And then you get the nice, what do we do now? Let's do the festival run. And then all of a sudden that needs a budget.
That is
Kelly.
true.
That is from me.
Producer Kelly takes over.
Yeah. And we also we did the festival circuit, and then, luckily we got into a few festivals, and then there's marketing materials and whatnot. And we wanted to have a little screening for our people in LA. So it does add up there, the post-production budget as well.
Yeah.
But
I will say post was difficult a little only because I was in Australia on another film, like on a feature film, and I would have to wake up at like very tough times in the hour for me in Australia to like talk to the colorist Francisco or talk to like the sound editor Ryan and all these people, and even Nick at one point, which Nick is a homie again. I worked at Caslo Camera for a bit years ago, and he did too, and he cut our film. But yeah, it's again the struggle. I was just like that. I wasn't getting paid for that. You know what I mean? I was working basically 2 jobs, but like working a 12-hour job on a feature film in Australia, and then also like waking up at 3 a.m. my time to talk to them at like 5 p.m. their time or whatever, to like go via Zoom and be like, hey, I need to cut this, or like the color's off a little bit here. Can we do this, that, the sound, this? So it was difficult, but like not in the ways that I knew it. Not in any special way. In a way where I'm like, that's part of the struggle.
yeah.
But the festival thing is always hard because you have to pay for these things, and often you never get feedback, which is very difficult. You know what I mean? It's just, and I get it. It's like festivals have how many submissions? Like hundreds, thousands.
It varies, yeah.
So it's just like it's tough for them too. But from a filmmaking standpoint, it's like it gets expensive and difficult. And if you're lucky, you get in.
Yeah, and shout out to like the main core people who worked on Male Gaze and didn't ask for any money until like they didn't ask for any money, and then like whatever we had left, like we sent their way, which was really, it was not comparable to the work that they did, not comparable to Jonny waking up at 3 a.m. while he's shooting another film. Like I can recognize that.
I'm not complaining.
No, but one day I hope to repay you. But yeah, there were also a lot of people who worked on it crew wise too, who just like didn't ask for anything. Like I remember Mario was like, just pay my guy, like people were like, just take care of this and like pay my whatever. And it's like, we tried to make it as professional as it could be, like, taking breaks, buying lunches, whatnot. But we did realize that it was a big ask at the end of the day. Even though it's 2 days, it's still 2 days people could be making money, like it's not something that we took lightly.
But we're grateful because when we get into the festivals, like, we got into Austin. People came out for that one. We came into Sherman Oaks. We told our friends, they came out here. They did the Q&A stuff too. So like it was really sweet that, why these festivals are important is really cool. Cause again, it's like, then it's the chance for them to watch it. Oftentimes like they don't get to see it, for whatever reason. Even though we have our friends and, we put on our little screening for everybody that worked on it, but not everyone's available that time or whatever. So just getting into the festival is cool, just to like show them like, hey, it paid off, you know.
Yeah.
And to have an audience and have it in a block, well, like at Sherman Oaks, we only do blocks like 3 and 4, but to have people you haven't met laughing,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
you
it's
know,
the best.
like, isn't that like wonderful?
Yeah,
Kathrin's
that was really fun. Well, I'm from Austin, so like my friends and family all got to see it, and we got to have a little party and everything. That was really special to, you know, get to show especially my parents, like, look, see, I am doing something in California. It's worth the time. But yeah, it's a lot of.
But also, perfect strangers were entertained and laughing and enjoying
Yeah.
it.
Exactly, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think seeing it on a big screen for the first time was like, it was weird. Like it was in like a good way, but it was definitely an experience that like I hadn't really had before. So it was really special.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I assume, did it give you all the taste to do more?
Always,
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
I had an idea for male gaze too, but like it was just more like as a joke. But I just finished my short film, Juanito Go Viral, and we're like in post right now, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll be completely locked and done. So we'll be submitting that. But it was again very small. This one I produced myself. And wrote from like a sketch class, I think from Groundlings or something that I took. But yeah, it's I think we're all doing something. So yeah, I saw you in something recently.
You did?
Yeah, I don't know. Phil actually sent me something. Someone, our first AD was like, Kathryn's in this show.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I don't know. But I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
send it my way.
Yeah.
Kathryn's like, what was
Like,
I
what
in?
is it? What is it?
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I did production design Johnny's, which was
Yeah.
my first
Yeah.
time production designing, which is definitely weird. It's a weird experience. Definitely, like, I feel like I'm just like, I'll just try anything that people will let me do. Like, why not? There's a feature that I have an idea for that I started writing. So that's cool. But it's something that I know is like very personal, and it's going to take me a little bit of time.
Sure.
And that's okay.
Yeah, I'm writing. No, I am. I've got a feature, a horror comedy feature, and a different horror comedy short, both in the works right now. One with more completion than the other, but yeah, I'm still gonna go back around for a few edits of the short, which is the only one that has a draft, before I like think about showing it to anybody. But yeah.
Fair enough. And I will, you know, I'm fishing because you're the winners of Best Performance by a Duo, but I mean, we going to see that chemistry again? I'm not reading into
Johnny
it, right?
has a sequel
I
ready.
have I'm
You want
ready
the
for
sequel,
it, yeah.
but I mean, like, you played so well together. And like, if you had told me that you two like met at an improv class and like had performed on stage together like every Tuesday at 11 for months, I would have bought it.
Yeah, I think also Kathryn and I have a funny way of getting ourselves into strange situations, and I think that lent itself to like having chemistry that was
we have a number of situations.
so like it was just kind of like, I feel like it's almost more interesting when you meet someone in the, I'm not like discrediting any relationships that are met, you know, in acting class or improv or whatnot, because I've obviously had my fair share of those. But when you meet someone in the wild, and you know, you have kind of like a natural chemistry and bond, and you have real life experiences, I think that lent itself to, you know, showing up on screen in a different way than had we just, you know, only hung out every Tuesday at an improv class in a way.
True, yeah.
You know, like we had like real world situations happen to us. We ended up at strange parties and like had like, you know, lots of different fun times together that I think made our chemistry real, you know?
Yeah, we knew each other personally instead of just in, you know, like a artistic capacity,
Yeah,
but also in an artistic capacity.
for sure.
You're kind of implying that realness and integrity matter or something?
They do.
Real ones get it.
Yeah, the real ones.
Weird content. Well, excellent. Well, it feels like we're wrapping up. is there website, social media? Is there stuff that people should follow? And by the way,
Yes.
is it still on the festival circuit, or have you
Yes. Well,
anything coming up? People should mind you. This will probably come out like late June.
We're still waiting to hear from, I'd say like 5 or 6 more. We're towards the end of our circuit, I would say.
Yeah.
There might be some that we like last minute submit to. But our Instagram is at the Male Gaze Film.
Yeah, I believe so.
And that's our website too.
Yeah.
www.
And we'll probably put it up on there pretty soon.
themalegazefilm.com.
Yeah, we'll put the actual film on the website and Instagram, YouTube, or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll probably make it accessible by the time this episode's out, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, as long as it's not like in the circuit, like I think we can
Yeah.
do whatever with it.
and hey, whenever it does come out, if you remember, just fire off an email with a link and
Cool.
Yeah.
we'll put it in the show notes.
Well,
Yeah.
appreciate you like having a space for indie filmmakers. I think it's really special and
Big time.
meaningful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's really cool.
Hey,
doubt.
you guys deserve it. You all deserve it. All right, well, let me wrap us up then. I always think so. Thank you, Kathryn. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you.
Thank all three of you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you are listening and you want to learn more about this podcast, all about filmmakers on the festival circuit, just go to discoverindiefilm.com. There you can learn about the podcast and things that grow from it. On social media, it's always at DIFWins. But I must admit, I quit social media a year and a half ago. So my
Congratulations.
Thank-
That's
I wanna-
amazing.
I wanna be there.
I mean, I still troll. I still, what do you call it when you look but you don't post? Lurk. I lurk.
You
A
lurk.
little,
Sure.
But I gave up posting entirely, and
Oh,
Wow.
But
Good on you.
so that's just my way of saying if you write to this podcast on at DIFWins on any of the platforms, my wonderful podcast producer Karina, an excellent staffer, she answers the emails because I don't.
good for
People are
you.
like, I sent a message on Instagram. I'm like, I've been saying for like a year and a half that I quit social media.
Yeah.
Like, stop writing to me on Instagram and Facebook. So anyway, that's that. That's discoverindiefilm.com. If you change it to discoverindiefilm.org, that is the nonprofit that runs 2 film festivals in the LA area, both ranked in the top 100 best reviewed worldwide out of 14,000 festivals. Maybe there's 14,000 motherfucking festivals
I
in this
believe
world.
it.
There's so many.
It's like a little
No
too
freeway.
many.
Kelly knows.
I forget the number, but I actually did the math on how many are in LA. And even once you rule out all the online only ones, there's like 4 per week.
Oh my God.
So anyway, that's my way of bringing it up, that the team and I are very proud that both of our festivals were 2% of the top 100 in the world. There you go.
That's amazing.
Of filmmaker reviews. So that's discoverindiefilm.org, where you can, and then that will link you to Sherman Oaks Film Festival's website, or its sister festival, Filmvasion Los Angeles' website. And on the Filmvasion Los Angeles website, I just mentioned that I called those 2 sisters for some reason. And they have a cousin who was born in January of this year in Lima, Peru. Film Invasion Lima was held.
Congrats.
It was so cool. I wasn't there.
That's awesome.
Couldn't
though.
wing it, but it went great. Everyone there had a great time. I even got to have coffee with someone who flew down. And we're doing it again in 2027 because Film Invasion LA is always in the summer. Sherman Oaks Film Festival is always in the winter right after Thanksgiving. And next year, hey, what are you doing Valentine's Day? Why not go to Lima, Peru, a romantic South American capital?
Oh.
It's also a 3-day
He's
weekend up
inviting,
here.
we're going.
It's President's Day weekend in the States.
Let's
and
go.
It's summer there and winter here. So, hey, that's when the second edition of Film Invasion Lima is happening.
Gosh, you gotta make
I'm
something.
just kind of tickled.
When's the
that there's
deadline?
not for a while.
All
Not for a
right.
while.
Great, perfect.
Enough time to make it.
And actually, in all fairness, needless to say, we got an alumni discount. So if you are,
That's
you know,
it.
and-
Magic
In this
words.
economy, thank you.
yeah. Well, there's one too. When you
That's
all make
right.
more film. Well, you've already shot one.
Yeah.
And you worked on it. But I'm saying you again. Okay.
He looked at Johnny and then he looked at me,
Yeah.
Kelly.
I know. It's funny. People say, when are you going to add cameras to the podcast? I'm like, dude,
Never.
never.
Use your imagination. No AI.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm too old school. Anyway. All right. Kathryn, Kelly, Johnny, thank you all so much.
Thank
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
And thank you everyone for listening.
Yay.